Alrighty, Doctor from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Let's see, there's Robin on the chat line. Hello, Robin. Clean up in aisles 3, 5, and 7. Oh, yes. All right. Let's see what's going on here. There's the dollar index. It's trading at, when I saw 99, I thought, yay, it's broken the century mark, but it hasn't. And there's 103.99. We're seeing same thing over on Chicago Quant. The product is, well, let's see. The product fell into a daily sell over here yesterday, so that's kind of interesting. Right there, breaking down, but it's a little bit higher today. You know, because it was a very slow day. Hey, hey, hey! I'm a monkey, and so you can see here same situation. Hey, George, how you doing? Good morning to you, and good morning, world. And so dollar kind of sideways action. I guess they're looking for direction in the sense of, you know, I saw that the bonds, the 5-year and the 30-year, are popping up. You know, their interest rates are dropping. That's what that was. That was interest rates dropping. A sip of the old tea. That feels good. All right. When it comes to the dollar, you know, I saw a headline this morning, and that was that central banks have never bought more gold in history, they said. You know, so what it's really going to come down to is, and I guess the United States controls close to 50% of known gold in the world. So it's going to come down to who can back, I guess, in some ways their equity, other ways militarily. Remember, in the world of a nuclear weapon, you can really do a lot of damage. So, you know, you need conventional forces, you need, nuclear forces, and then at the same time, you need a currency that's backed by a good economic system. That's like kind of like one of the last things you rarely hear about. People complain about the dollar, or they love the dollar, or they love other currency, or, you know, whatever it is, be it Swiss or whatever. But more than that is it needs to be backed by a system, an economic system that is not only just militarily strong, but it needs to be backed by a economically strong system. And that's what makes China probably so, hey, Metho, probably makes China so frustrated all the time. You know, they don't have a really good economic system. I guess you could say they're a one-man band in the sense that because they're communists, if we stop buying, you know, $300 and some odd billion a year from them, then no one else can afford to do that. And so that probably, which, you know, why they say, you know, we got to get rid of the United States. You know, we want to be the dominant country in the world because then we can just, you know, do the classic things that those type of governments do over there. They enslave people and, you know, intimidate people and so forth and so on. They don't have to answer to anybody. So now this little dance that's going on between Europe and the United States and the Russian Federation and China. And then one thing that's not talked about is Asia. Asia, we are doing with other Asian countries like Japan and Taiwan and Philippines, Australia, you know, and so forth, military drills. South Korea, we're doing military drills. So that's going on every day very actively. You know, and so, you know, it's a strange world where you get commingled, you know, with currency, economic policy, I guess what we call Adam Smith's world, really. Good old Adam Smith from the 17th century. He 17th and 18th century Adam Smith, you know, where he talked about free markets and so forth and so on. You know, it's a definite challenge there. And so here we are, you know, we look at things through an algorithm, you know, because we've gotten to the point where words don't mean as much as they used to. You know, the fundamentals, as Janos has done some videos on it, and a few other people around here through Dukascopy and Swiss Bank have done stories about it.
Market data connection
unfortunately, lost. The words are cheap, you know, and action is
market
more
data connection
legitimate.
reestablished.
So I just heard that. We lost something there. Let me just check my sound. Let's make sure you're not hearing some type of advertisement. Let me just go back over to here. And let's see, where's the sound at? Let me plug the sound in. No, the sound is plugged in. All right, let me raise the volume up. There we go. And I don't hear any other sound but me. Good. Okay. Remember, was it yesterday or a couple of days ago? We had something else going on in the background. I forgot to double check that thing. All right, there we go. So yeah, it's interesting. You see that big. I saw that out of the Nikkei, in Japan this morning. They were running an article, a story about the never have central banks bought so much gold in history. So interesting. It's a really as I was saying, it's a real dance to try to figure out exactly how to read a market, and get the accuracy of direction that we have around here and we've shown for years. It's a combination of algorithms and realistic economic perspective. So there it is. Now there you go. Let's go take a look at the euro, see what the individuals are doing today, since the dollar, or not the dollar as much, but the interest rates themselves in the States seem to be dropping a little aggressively the last 2 days. So we'll see what that is. Now let's go over to, where's it at? Right there. And let's put, there it is. No, that's the wrong product. Right there instead. There we are. We have a mouse here somewhere. There it is. And there is, that's the Swiss, and you can see that moving down. Let's go right from our main list, unless people just want to see the Swiss first. But there is the euro. You see the euro is dropping down. So as far as they're concerned, the dollar is where they want to be. And then when we go back, where's it at? Let's go back to the interest rates. I'll show you the 30-year bond. Right there. There's a 30-year bond. Oh, okay. Now prices, yeah. Let's see. When prices drop, interest rates rise. Okay, so this morning when I was looking at this product was trying to, went into the buy on Friday, and is now flirting with going into a sell. No more than 3 hours ago. 2 hours ago, this was still very firm, and we were nowhere near down here, and the little red dot wasn't there. It was just a green. So that's kind of interesting. And then when we go to the 5-year, let's see what the 5-year looks like. 5-year probably has the same dance going on. There's the 5-year. Let's widen that out, but you can see it's doing the same thing. It's getting lower, getting low. Now you can see here on the 5-year, it didn't get into. No, wait a minute. What is that? That's the euro. Is that the euro? Yeah, that's the euro. Let's get it to the 5-year. Right there, right next to the 5-year. And right there, you can see it jumped into the buy also on Friday. Oh, what is that? That is not Friday. That is yesterday. I didn't realize that. It's yesterday. Okay. Because they were running the bond market yesterday. Let me see if we can change that and see what it looks like. Because in this case here, then, it's very slow data on a holiday here in the States. So it's very hard to trust that situation. You don't want to get trapped in the slow market. We're going to go to default. Okay, there it is. So that would be Friday. That's better. So that's Friday. So it goes into the buy on Friday. And then, let's see, what can we do to get, I guess we have to go this way. That's the Friday without an update. And then, so we go like that. Let's see what that does. There we go. Yeah, that's it. So that was, close. That was Friday, right there. See, Friday. And then now it's trying to back off today. Doing the same thing as a 30-year bond. Trying to back off. It's starting to move back down to that low of Thursday. So that little pop at the end of the weekend, the 3-day weekend, they thought maybe to cover a little bit in case the Fed did something. Obviously, they did not do whatever bond vigilantes think. We like to call them the bond vigilantes. And the reason why we call them the bond vigilantes is because there is no listed bond market really in the United States. Only in the futures contract is a listed market. It's an over-the-counter market, and it's been that way a very long time. So, in other words, it's governed by the Securities Exchange Commission, but it's an over-the-counter market like a NASDAQ, like the way the Tech 100 was, and is not as much anymore. And so bond dealers are very fleeting, and they're controlled by the Federal Reserve. So, and when the bond dealers decide to get out of their bonds, there is no bid. There's not like, where in stocks there's usually a bid and there's an offer. They can just pull their bids and walk away and not have to even show a bid, and so, or an offer. So that's why we refer to them as the bond vigilantes. I'm sure you've heard that name before, and that's the reason why they're just like, when they decide to do something, they just do it. There's no law that governs them. None whatsoever, and that's why they're considered vigilantes. Another sip of the tea here, so excuse me for a second. And that's why they call them bond vigilantes. Now, when they created the futures contracts on the bonds themselves, that really helped out because it started to have a defined spot, I guess you could say, and a bid and an offer. But again, that's not the dog, that's the tail, and it does not control the dog. Sometimes the tail leads wags the dog, but in this case here, it does not. All right. So now from there, we slide over to, on the currency side again, we go to the British pound. See what the British pound is up to this morning. And there she blows. And let's put her up on J4X at the same time. And right there it is. So pound is up into the 121s is really cool. It's showing some strength. Yesterday, now I trust the bond market from yesterday. It's just a thin market, but a lot of times I do pay attention to that because currencies are needed. They're like a hammer or a nail or a tool, saw. They're an actual need. People need to buy currencies to be able to buy product from other countries that produce things, be it minerals or manufacturing or whatever. There we go. You can see that there. The strength, it's holding up. Whereas in the euro, again, we can go back to that. And you can see the euro is flat to down. Europa is doing something unhappily to itself as usual. I posted something yesterday. I think I talked about it. It looks like the European Union is having its own quasi Supreme Court now. So that makes it even more of a challenge when you have something that's not controlled by anything to do with the population, but controlled by bureaucrats. In other words, the Politburo, basically. So that's a disappointment. But that's Europe. That's why my family on all four sides left there over 100 years ago. At this point, it's like 150 years ago. They left it a long time ago, saying this place is crackers. This place is crazy. All right. Let's see. From there, we'll go over to the Swiss. See what the Swiss is up to. Yeah, that place is crackers. Right. Well, let's widen that out. There we go. You can see Swiss went into a sell there yesterday, lifting back up a little bit now, and it's in the weekly buy. So, all that profit I guess someone's got to take some profits when the product goes from 100.5. I guess you'd say down to 91, even a little bit lower, 90s. A 10% drop over a 3-month period. And a drop in a good way for Switzerland. It showed strength, and obviously that Credit Suisse situation we talked about yesterday, where the Federal Reserve was doing swaps with the Central Bank of Switzerland for a couple of weeks, got cleaned up. But it actually scared the currency, which was fascinating in its own right, because I always imagined as we all do, we believe that the Swiss banking system is one of the superb ones, one of the better ones on the planet. So now from there, yeah, we'll throw that. Oh, let's throw it up on J4X too. There it is on J4X. J4X right there. As you can see, the daily is breaking down, which is a good thing for the currency there. It makes the Swiss a little bit more valuable. But the weekly itself, let's show you what the weekly looks like. There's the weekly on J4X. Probably a couple green hinkies. And there, yeah, a couple green hinkies. Same situation as what you're seeing over here. Green. And then when looking at it, the fast-moving algo busted through there 3 weeks ago, just like you have 3 weeks back on the, the weekly. Same situation. And still holding up by the hair of its chinny chin chin, but still holding up. All right. Then from there we go over to yen. See what the yen is up to. And yen doing that same not mirror image, symbiotic relationship between, the yen and the Swiss, which is interesting in its own right. Whatever that's going on, and you can see here, 4 weeks back, it's the fast broke into the buy side, and right as it started to take off in here, and then you went into a daily buy, had a couple good days, and then corrected a little bit in here, and then right back into the daily buy again. Another great week and a half or 2 weeks. What was that 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 days, trading days. So, alrighty, no questions out there. It's all kind of quiet. You guys are quiet today. I don't know why the sky is blue or something like that. Or how about all those CMEs hitting the earth? Turkey got slammed again. Boy, Turkey. That's supposedly in the electric universe. The physics that follows, like Maxwell and Newton and early Einstein, and Ohm and Faraday and Tesla, and I can give you great names all the way up until you crack into the early part of the 20th century, with Planck and all those guys defining the universe as a gravitationally dominated universe, when in fact it's an electric universe. It's plasma as far as the eye can see, and we've seen where the James Webb is proving it day in and day out now. It's just tons of plasma up there. For some reason, they just choose to forget about Ohm and Maxwell and the rest of them. They just don't want to. They kind of want to just define it as a gravitational universe, but it's not. And we can predict earthquakes and volcanoes and everything else by the action of the sun. So we saw that starting on Friday. We got pounded by a bunch of small CMEs, but we don't usually get hit by them. So it's rare, very rare. And when they do, we get earthquakes on. Sometimes we get some big earthquakes. Sometimes they're out in the middle of nowhere, depending on where the Earth was aimed at the time. But in this case here, it's the second time now that Turkey in that area has gotten beaten up, and from the CMAs over the last 3 weeks. And at the same time, the long-term cycle, we talk about cycles here, Fibonacci and so forth, and the long-term cycle with the sun says that they're going to get blasted in that area in about 2 decades. The long-term cycles is pointing in that direction. So it's kind of interesting. This must be the warm-up show for it. All right. From there, we're looking at the yen. The yen, you can see that, as we said, moving up the way it does. And let's go over to the Turkish lira right there. And obviously, with all that money coming in from relief agencies and everything else, it's making the Euro-Turkish lira firm. Definitely looking firm, We did slide into a little sell here right there again, which makes it firm. There's sells here. And you can see the weekly was back in here. And you can see our fast broke down right as the earthquake started. And once that broke down, that was an all-time high. That literal day there is an all-time high. And at the same time, the earthquakes happened because all the CMEs started to pop out right around here. We were really excited over on the physics side. We were like, where's this one going to come? And boy, did we see it. 24 hours later, it hit Turkey and Syria. So, yeah, you could ask about the electric universe. I could really explain how there were analysts that used to use it, sunspots on the sun to predict market action. But then quantitative easing occurred. And once quantitative easing got going, that is the sun. In other words, that's what moves the markets here on the earth, is the QE, whereas before, it was just the sun and funds, mutual funds, retirement funds, hedge funds. The Federal Reserve got involved about once a quarter, every 3 months or so. That's about it. Now they're involved every day in our marketplace. All right. And so from there, do we have it? Oh, let's see it. Let's look at it on J4X too. There it is, right there, Euro Turkish Lira. You see the 3 weeks moving down, just like our fast algorithm broke down. 4 weeks ago. Broke down 4 weeks ago, and then 3 weeks back it confirmed even with the slow and that. It must have been such pressure, financial pressure in a good way was affecting Turkey now for the last 4 weeks. And as all those relief agencies coming in and helping out. All right, and then let's put the daily up there of the Turkish lira on J4X right there. You can see that same situation, just driving down. That right there is your all-time high. Right there, all-time high of Turkish lira. All right. Where do we go from here? We go over to the two currencies that we pay attention to. It's have some type of relationship with oil and gold. But unfortunately, things have gotten a little wacky on that. Canadian seems to be fine. Canadian, it's as consistent as it usually is right there. And there's Canadian, it's been rising, and we go take a look at crude oil. And crude oil is, let's see, where are you, Mr. and Mrs. Crude Oil? Right there, the April contract. And so it's been falling down in price for the last week or so. It dropped off from the $80 or $80.78 area down to the $75 area. And today they're picking its little head up, moving it up a little bit. It's up into the 77s. Same thing, you can see that the fast-moving stochastic had broken down in here. And at the same time, the weekly, the slow one broke down also. So what's up with this? Let's put that in there. So that was there. And then let's put in, then I guess it went into a buy for a week. Right there, it tried to get into a buy for a week. When I don't see this thing get through the manifold and we got the fast one underneath, I'm very leery of what kind of life. I would say that the weekly has a half-life, like in science. Whoa, not that green. Yeah, it has a half-life, like in science, where it will have an end to it. And in this case here, it did. And that's usually the way it does work. That's why we're looking at our fast and slow moving stochastics. We'll probably develop a rule. I've been working on it for 2 years now. We'll probably develop a rule and put that into our new rules at Chicago Quant over time. Let's see, what do we got going on here? Nothing. Oh yeah, there it is. We went into the sell right there on Friday. Pushed back into the sell again. Yeah. The fast jumped up. That's kind of interesting to see what that's doing. I don't know. We'll see. Let's do a little save, so we don't have to do that again tomorrow. Then we slide over to the gold. There's the gold. You see gold is trying to lift up. Now this morning it was much firmer. What is that? Yeah, that's right. So it was much firmer. If we move this over, I guess there's a red and a green. No, now it's just red. So forget about it. We get rid of that. That's gone out of here. Watch that ball fly. It is out of here. There we are. Let's go like that. And so it's still sitting in the sell situation. Let's put it into a chart there. It's cleaned up. The weekly, same way. Let's see, where's that at? Now it's a gas line 5. In many ways, we should have a gas line 3. You know what? Let's do that. Let's put a gas line 3 in there and get rid of that gas line 5, because the gas line, the super gas line, so we'll be able to see the 5 and the 3 and see the speed of the algorithm itself and the relationship of that action. That's not it. Cancel. Close. Insert instrument indicator. There we are. Indicator. Get rid of that one. Remove. Bingo, bango, bongo. And then add gas line super 3. Super 3. Gas line super 3. There it is. Super 3.5. Okay. Close. And let's move it up into the same neighborhood, like right there. There we are. And we'll just go like that. Move that one up. And move that up a little bit more. Move that a little bit more up. There we are. And you can see here the fast broke down right at the, let's see, where's the 0 line? Let's get the 0 line in there. There we are. So. You can see here, broke. Oh, it's not. Is that a? No, it's not. It's on the wrong thing. Let's see. What are we doing? We'll go like that. Properties. No wonder it popped up. Okay, properties. Now it'll straighten out. There we go. Here's the weekly. Bingo, bango, bongo. Yeah. So the fast broke down here. Took a while for the slow to kick in. There. So that was a good warning sign again. The fast can be very warning, especially when the green line here breaks underneath the manifold. That's when, and this is in the minus. Let's put the line in there for the minus right there. So once the fast breaks underneath the 0 line, and the slow is underneath the manifold, there's definitely going to be pressure. It's like almost 99% chance of being pressure. It's very strong. At some aspect, it's 86, 87%, but there are times where I've seen it as high as 90. In the 90s, 95, 97, 98, 99. It's like hot, heavy. It seems like it's a combination that does it too. But it's fascinating to see that work, and that's why I've been following it, I guess, for about a year and a half now, taking it more serious. Especially over the last 6 months when I finally dissected the 3.5, and for a long while it didn't make any sense to me. And I thought that the green line was the 3, and I thought that the little dotted blue cyan was the 5, but it's the reverse. And so what's happened is it just runs a fast 3 in a plot 1, and then we get a 3. The 5 is your classic plot 1 and 4. And that's what that was. I thought this was a plot 4 of the 5. I couldn't figure out why was the 5 leading the 3. What was it reading lagging wise? Then when I finally took it apart with my son, I thought, that's the answer to it. Because for a long while I didn't understand. I just didn't understand. We built it, and I thought we'd reversed it. I thought it was supposed to be the other way around, with a slow moving 5 trying to figure out the rhythm, but it was leading, and I thought that doesn't make any sense. How can it be leading? I mean, I've seen times where a slower algo does lead. It picks up something that I don't understand what it's picking up, but it's smart and it knows better. That's why I call it a consciousness. But in this case here, when you see the 3 and the 5 together on the same scale, and that's all designed into the same scale, it's like, oh, now I get it. All right. From there, where do we dance to? We dance over to, what was it? So this was gold. So we take a look at the South African Rand. And at the same time, let me save this. Save workspace. Save workspace as. We're going to really double down on it. I want this not to go anywhere, and I want it to stay there. Cool. And then what we do is we slide over to the African continent down to the southern part of it, heading towards, which has probably a cold summer. I understand that Antarctica is having record cold temperatures for summer. It's very rare for actually, it's historic at this point. We've been following it for a couple hundred years. And Antarctica, this is the summer down in the Antarctica, where it can get to a minus, 80 and 90 degrees, 70 degrees, and it's like cruising in the hundreds, like 140, 150 degrees minus. And I heard that Australia was I heard someone say that too. Australia was a cold summer. So, their summers are our winters are their summers. And you can see here, there's the South African rand all tangled up. At least it's following the rhythm now. So there's the rhythm there. Let's put it up on J4X so you can see it even better. See that rhythm. Feel the beat. Feel the rhythm. Cool running. I understand that the Jamaican bobsled team has created hats that say cool running now. They made a movie about that. Jamaica, one of the, I guess, like unofficial sports in Jamaica, in the Caribbean is, and it's a Commonwealth country, is kids and adults, they like to take like goat carts, a little wooden cart with 4 wheels and a steering wheel and a brake, like a stick pushing against the wheel. And they like to race down the mountains because there's a lot of mountains in Jamaica. It's a very mountainous place. And so someone got the idea, since they were great athletes in track and field, running, someone got the idea to try to get some of the fastest runners in the world to be toboggan athletes. And that's in the snow, and they don't, Blue Mountain gets a little snow, but anyway, cool running, that's right. There we go. We'll leave it at that. Let's not get too crazy there. Cool running, man. Cool running. All right, so there it is in South Africa. We're seeing the, gold is going down, and what do we see there on J4X? We see gold going down, and then we see South African rand going up. That's the way it's supposed to work. Now, the only differential is that ever since the political turmoil, when gold, let's go back to gold again, when gold had that nice massive run over the last couple months, we did not see that massive run in the currency. It started at one point, and then where that box is, in December, what happened was there was a political upheaval in the presidency. Politics, $500,000 in cash found in the sofa. To be exact, it was $520,000 in cash in the president's office, underneath the sofa cushion. As much as I make jokes about sofas and cushions, it was actually there, and so it really messed up the whole rhythm. But right now, it's doing a pretty good job. So you can see here, it's bottomed out in, what was that? That was the 16th of January, and then when we go and look at the gold, let's see where the 16th of January is. There's the 23rd right up in here, right there. There's the 17th. There's the 16th right there. So right there, go make this bigger. So right there, that's the 18th, 16th. Yeah, it topped out and it bottomed here. And we should have seen a South African rand almost at the 15 area. Instead, it was trading at 1660, 1670. So, the politics really tangled this up. I mean, this was what happened when the news came out. It was heading down. Gold was roaring up. Gold, South African rand. Let's see if we can tighten this up here. Show you the South African rand. You see the South African rand had topped out in the 18. Where is that at? Right there. South African rand had topped out in the 1850s like that. And it was doing fine with gold. Gold was rallying big, and then the news came out and it just stopped it. And gold kept on rallying all the way down into just like a couple of weeks ago, really. Let's go look at it again on the gold. Gold. Where's Mr. Mouse? There's Mr. Mouse. So what is that? That's there. So we go like that. And there is the gold. And we'll tighten that up. So, I mean, it rallied all the way up until basically February, making 6-month highs type of things, 7-month highs, but South African Rand had gotten clocked, got all beat up. So, that is why we kind of are whiny about it. Darn it, it was a great tool. Whenever the South African Rand ticked up, we knew you could sell gold because by the end of the day, gold was going to be down. And that was really cool. Now, it's kind of sloppy because of the politics. Alrighty. So from there, we slide over to the last currency that we pay attention to, and that is the Mexican peso, which seems to have an eye for the American market very well. When we're doing something stupid here, it loses money and against the dollar, and when we're doing something smart, it seems to do something good for it. So it's a good guidepost. It predicted the elections very well in every direction, and you can see now it's doing that. Let's move this up because it's moving. It looks like it's making more lows. Yeah, look at that. It's pushing down even more. So as this goes down, it's gaining against the dollar. So it's doing a fine job holding on against the dollar, and it's been in that weekly sell. You can see here, and with that fast stochastic. Let's bring that zero line down to here. You can see right there too. Let's do the you see that. So it breaks into the sell together, and it pops up, and the fast doesn't. And the fast tries to pop up, but the slow is not. So in essence, it's been telling us from this point on that the weekly trend is down, and these little pops with the fast right there and the slow right there have what I refer to in science as a half-life. It's very short-lived compared to eternity. So, all right, that is that. We're going to close the currencies out here, and we're going to just go look at metals and energies and the stock indices. Speaking of stock indices, let's see where they are right now. So the S&P 500, last I saw, was down for the day. Still pretty low for the day right there. It's trading in the 53s. I think the low today is 47. Dow Jones Industrial, and you can see here it's, what is it? Oh, now what happened there? See, that doesn't make any sense. It was in the sell for 3 days. Now what is that all about? Now we got to fix that. Clean up on aisle 1. Let's see, we got to fix that. Let's go like that maybe. Let's see if that'll do it. There we go. That's better now. Had to change the time frame to 20. Oh, wait a minute. I thought it fixed it. We'll have to fix this day here. That is the 16th, and the 16th is definitely wrong. And when we go and show you what we sent out this morning, where are you? This is what we sent out this morning. You see, it's down, down, down for 3 full days. That's including yesterday, and we'll have to fix that. That needs to be fixed. The high is higher. See how high it was? It took out that high. Here it's not even close. It's not even remotely close. The high is way over there. So, all right, we'll fix that. I hate when it does that stuff. Jeez. Clean up on aisle 5. What else we got going on here? So it's 3 days in a sell. It is flirting with the weekly sell as we speak. It's not affecting that, I can tell you that. And at this point, you can see the slow is still very comfortable above, but the fast is breaking down. So we'll see what that means over the next 2 trading days. Then from there we go over to the Tech 100. Tech 100 is basically the same way, breaking into its sell right there today. There is Friday. It had a hard time breaking into the sell, and it's just starting to do it now as we speak. So we're seeing some pressure there, but not, they're not taking out like that low yet. They're not taking out this low yet, Whereas over on the S&P, they are going after that low right there, and we're wondering. And as we can show you over here on the, I think that was the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Just like, where's that at? That closed in a weekly sell last week. So we're starting to see that same pressure we saw in the selling about, before the October lows, I guess you could say. We're starting to see a little of that selling now. Do I think they're going to take out the October lows? I don't think that. I don't. I don't. I don't. And there it is. You can see it. The fast and the slow are underneath the zero line. Now, what's funny is that funny, you can see the slow is trying to bounce up today. But the slow is saying, nah, I don't really care. And if that's slow, if the fast breaks that manifold at the same time, you got to wonder how fast this is going to curve. Now, this is really starting to curve, and you would have thought, imagine how much, yeah, no, that's probably right. So, it'll be interesting to see what it's going to take to get that. Maybe another 500 points down to roll it over. And I understand right now, is that ticking pretty? Yeah, that's got to be, because right now that's ticking. It's down 316, so another like 300 or 400 points. And you can see the daily. Something's wrong there. We'll have to double check this. That may not be right. That's Friday. That's what's probably screwing this up. Let me just take a look at that. I know they rallied them back on Friday. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that was the rally back on Friday. Let me just double check it. But yeah, I think it's this thing right there. That's what I think it is. Well, Rady, let me just take a look on the exchange. I want to see what they have on the exchange there. Not that mouse, this mouse. I want to see what the exchange was saying. Let's see, where's it at? Right there. And what is that? That's the the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Right there, down, Dow Jones. There it is. And what it's saying is, it might be a little stronger. Let's see where that settled. That settled at 33,866. What did this do? 33,8. Yeah, that's good enough. So that's right. That is right there. And I think, oh no, we'll have to dissect it all after the webinar. I'll go find out what's the malfunction there. Let me think. What else we got going on here? We've got. I'm just looking at this. What is that? That's 843. Okay. All right. So we're seeing pressure on the stock indices. Earnings are coming out. I'm not sure what news we have this week. They're saying there's something up on the screen that says 68% of the S&P 500 companies have beat revenue estimates. So they're doing they're doing better than what they estimated. But I understand that like Walmart came out, it beat, and then at the same time they gave forward warning, and that put pressure on the stock market at the time. About an hour ago. So. This recession thing is, and at the same time, unemployment is dropping like a rock. And the Federal Reserve is supposedly raising rates for specifically one reason, to get unemployment to go up. They'll have to change what Mr. Obama fixed if they want unemployment to go up. They don't have to raise interest rates, just change the stats. Change them back to normal. All right, let's go to, where do we go from here? Let's go. I just wanted to see what the stock indices were doing. So they're usually last. Let's go over and look at the energies. We just saw crude. There's crude trading at 77.05. That's the April contract. That's spot. Let's see what the June contract is. 77.29. So it's about 25 cents higher. The back month is, but look at the way the manifold is tightening up on the daily. Fast turning up, as we've talked about before, and it's going into a second week in a weekly sell. Then we slide over to, where do we go from there? We can go to heating oil as the winter passes on. Here is the heating oil in March, which we're going to switch to April tomorrow. It's trying to turn up. It's been in a weekly sell since in here. So as the winter months disappear, and we are now 2 full months into winter, we're starting to move out of winter. So light is increasing and a whole bit. Now that's the heating oil for houses over here in the States. Then let's look at nat gas. Nat gas is buried at 219. It's taken out another bunch of. This thing is threat. You know what? It's starting to get to the point where we talked about the extreme of Fibonacci and WD Gann and so forth, and we're getting to a point now where this product is starting to get, looks like it's going to do 100% retracement, where we find ourselves sitting at like 140, 150 in natural gas. So metho, you'll be able to get that stuff. It won't be free, but it'll be awful cheap, you know. And then the bigger question will be is where will it go from there, you know? What will they do with it there, huh, metho? Will they lift it up? Will they just, you know, I don't know. I mean, Europe will have to think about the arbitrage. You know, let's do this. Let's go over to J4X and look at that energy company in Spain and see what it's doing. There is, let's see, let's scroll up. So there is nat gas right there. You see that 21.9. And last we saw that's the energy company down in Spain was trading at 20, almost 27. So natural gas is not dropping in Europa. Look at this, 20. It's just as high as yesterday, 26.79 at 84, which means more than likely that a cubic foot of natural gas is $26, heading for $27, and in the States it is $2. Talk about, you know, like I said, what do they call it? They're crackers. That's what it is. You know, like cheese and crackers. Crazy. That's what we used to refer to when someone was, you know, saying something foolish or crazy. We used to say they're crackers. They're crazy. You know, just crackers and crazy start off with CR, and you don't want to call them crazy, so you say they're crackers, not like Southern crackers, you know, like rednecks. But crackers, like cheese and crackers, are crazy. Cheese, you know, with the C and the H and C and the R. So, I don't know what Europe's malfunction is. They want a green Earth. They got to find a green Earth in another solar system because our solar system is doing what it will do and has done before. And for them to pretend that they can control the weather and you basically are saying that. I guess SUVs created the earthquakes in Turkey then. That's what they're saying. I doubt that. I guarantee you could take every SUV on the planet, throw it at the sun, and they would melt and disappear. I don't think they're that powerful. All right. From the natural gas, that's pretty much the energy side of it all. So from there, and we've looked at the Spanish company, so from there, we'll go over to the metals complex. And there is silver. And you can see silver's trying to lift up today. You know, it's been in a sell for like 15 days. It's been in there a while. And you know what? What is this? We should do the same thing here. I want to see what the fast looks like. So I'm going to remove that study. Yes. And we're going to insert form indicator and add a 3.5 in there. Add 3.5. I want to see what a fast is doing. And let's change the property to it. There we are. And we put it there, like so. And there it is. And so you can see here, let's do this. Go like that, set it to the 0 line. And you can see here it went into the cell here on that. And the fast broke down. Did it break down there? Is that a minus? No, that's a plus, isn't it? That's a plus. See, 0.02, the plot 6, which is a plot 1 of 3. That's what that is. And then when we look at the white and the green on a 3.5 super, they're the plots 4 and 1. And so that's the action. Let's save this too. Save workspace. Save workspace as. I don't want to see this get lost either. There we go. And they're both trying to churn, that's for sure. You can see a little buying going on, but then we've been in the daily sell for 15 days, so somebody should take a profit somewhere on whatever short that they have. The 2020, the futures were a 35 cents. A 35 cents. 35 cents. What? In natural gas? Well, oh, was that when when oil went minus $39 that day? Is that what that was? Was that the same day? Is that how they did it? They tried to arbitrage themselves out of getting their heads handed to them. So they started selling everything and anything to adjust. Boy, they got burned there, I bet. And think about the ones that sold it at 35. Ooh. I know, Metho, you'd be a buyer, that's for sure. So would I. Uh-huh. And then, actually, we did a heads up that day here. Do you remember that? I kept on saying it's going to go to zero. It's going to go to zero. It's going to go minus. And it was trading at like $6 a barrel or $3 a barrel or $5, something like that. And it went minus, and then it got crazy. I said, watch it. It's going to get real crazy. Probably go to 10 or 12 or 15. Went to $39 minus. They were running like, scared rabbits. Now you can see here today, silver's trying to lift up a little bit. And you can see the fast is trying to do that. And you can see in the daily right there, the daily algorithm right there doing its thing. So, yeah, they were running like rabbits. All right, now from there we go over to, let's just take a look at gold one more time. There's gold. It's trying again now. Now it's trying to get up through the zero line one more time. So that's been in and out of sells since this top. Went into the sell there daily there. The fast was in the minus. It's interesting. Okay. Now let's go over to, I think copper has to be fixed. Copper's another one of those that's all screwed up. Clean up on aisle 9. Let's see. I almost went after it this morning and I thought I don't need that for a couple more hours. Well, I worry about it. Let's just get our work done. There's copper right there. So you see there, strength is kicking out. It's in the buy. Okay, so it's straightened itself out now since when I last looked at it. But the weekly went into a sell on Friday. And we'll see if they get something going on there. That copper's a swimming pool full of oil. Yep. Well, it's 50,000 barrels. So what's that? I think a barrel is 50 gallons. So a swimming pool, usually a big, good-sized swimming pool will hold like 6,000 gallons. So yeah, you probably could. Can you put 50,000? No, you can't put 50,000. No, that's too much. Not even an Olympic-sized pool can hold that much water or much oil. Yeah, you'd have to rent a bunch of pools and empty them out and put crude oil in them. I hear you, but it would be well worth it. Probably would too. At zero or pennies, yeah. I mean, look at it now. It's $80, $70. So, alrighty. From copper, we go over to platinum. Oh, you know what I should do? I should save this just for the sake of it, since it's working at the moment. And so there is the copper. Now let's take a look at platinum. Platinum has been a great leader explaining what the markets are thinking. It's trying to perk up a little bit in the daily buy for a few days here. You can see that. The weekly's been down. You see the fast broke down way back in here. Metals fell south. And then we take a look at platinum. Some people here are starting to watch platinum. But with with CFD I buy. Yeah. I don't blame you. Let's see, where is it at? Right there. There's platinum. Yeah, it's a delivery thing. That's why we see, we've been talking about that delivery thing, in gold, where next year's gold is trading $100 higher, and 2 years from now, the same gold is trading for $200 higher, near all-time highs. So the only reason spot is not is because, I rhymed. Spot is not. And the reason why it's not is because, You can't deliver it. So the banks knock it down. The central banks are knocking it down, and that's why they're buying at record numbers. They're keeping it down low so they can buy it. Remember, I always say that the professionals take it down when they want to buy them, and they raise them up when they want to sell them. Yeah, gas is a little more challenging. Thermodynamics kick in. You can make it liquefied. You have to just do it differently. You can liquefy it at a certain temperature. All right, what else we got going on here in the energy world and the metals world? I guess that's about it, isn't it? I guess we've come down to the end of this webinar. Anybody have a question out there? If not, where's Timothy at? I would have thought Timothy would have been asking for a chart. That's about it. So, we will catch tomorrow's hump day already. It'll be Wednesday. So, happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. Later, later, cowboys and cowgirls. Catch you around the farm.